Something else that I think people do is getting a strong pre-approval letter. Because I know some of my clients and even some of my fellow realtor colleagues, they'll say, make the pre-approval exactly the offer so that they know you don't have any more room to go any higher. I don't know if I agree with that. What do you think?
You know, the jury's out. It depends on the situation. I think in some ways it is nice to not lay all of your cards on the table. But like you said, it's nice to know that, hey, these buyers are not at the tip top of their budget, and one little slip up in their credit, if their credit, any of these factors won't knock them out of buying a house. It's like if they're only using 75% of what they're pre-approved for, hey, they've got wiggle room. They're being conservative. They're being financially responsible. We think they're going to be able to perform. So yeah, it's a good point. And I can see it both ways, really.
Yeah, and I can see it both ways. And I guess it depends. Like if you're buying a $600,000 house and you're only really approved for 650, like that's not a huge gap. And you probably should put 600 to not put all your cards on the table. But, if you're an investor and you're buying a $600,000 house, but you're approved for $1 million, and I just had this happen recently, it's like, she's probably going to get approved because she's literally could almost double this price and get approved, because what they're looking for, on these lower offers is, that the transaction is going to go through. And that's why putting down bigger earnest money, putting down, or being pre-approved for a bigger amount. I mean, it does help because, like to your point, when you're really tight like that, yes, you're not putting all your cards on the table, but you also are saying like, this is all I'm approved for. So it could be really tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think it's worth the conversation and to see what that seller thinks. But also I've had success with if I know that my buyer is competing, and again, they might not be the highest offer, but I'll call their lender. I'll talk to their lender and say, hey, we're in a competing situation. Can you call this listing agent and talk through your pre-approval process with them? Can you let that listing agent know that you've been completely underwritten and that you are very confident, or that, your client has been a client, long-term client, and you're familiar with their situation? Because so many times people can get these pre-approval letters online and you don't know if they've actually been fully underwritten. They're just based upon the information that they've entered in, but have they actually been underwritten? So having a lender call the listing agent has actually won me offers many times.
That's a really good idea. And I've actually never done that before, but I like it because you're right.